Hey everyone, Donald J. Brower, the GardensAHSWrestling.com podcast near fall. Special All-Star event edition. I'm very privileged to have a man who I consider my writing idol, the man I look up to, and you can blame for getting me involved in sports once I got my foot in the door. The great Joe Hofmann, longtime reporter for the Daily Record. I mean, he's done lots of other stuff. He's a Hall of Famer. I mean, I think the only writer in the Hall of Fame for Morris County. But Joe Hofmann, thank you for coming to join me for this and having a little fun with me with this.
Glad to be here, Don. I wouldn't miss it for the
now, I know we've talked about doing this in the past, and for a lot of people checking us out, in the past, what I've done with my All-Star match was traditionally Hunterdon Warren Sussex versus Morris. I've changed that up a little bit this year because I'm sort of phasing Morris out for certain reasons, and I'm bringing Passaic in, so I kind of wanted to mix it up. So what we're going to wind up doing is Joe and I are going to draft teams fantasy baseball style. We'll start at 106. Joe, because I'm the gracious host I am, I'll have the first overall pick. And the way we'll do it is Joe will get first pick at 106, then I'll get the next pick, he'll get the next pick, and then I'll get the last pick at 106, and then the first pick at 113, and we'll do that till we pick everybody. I'm going to be representing the pink team. Joe will have the black team. We will have the singlets up. We're just finishing up. They're going to have the proofs up here in the next day or so. Thank you for the proofs and all the work they've done. Nick Klinger, former wrestler at Kittatinny, who owns WrestleTech USA, who's actually going to be helping us out with the singlets. And the way it'll go is once we pick our teams, they'll be assigned different matches. There will be 2 semifinal matches, and then there will be a first place match and a third place match. The winner of the first place match will get 4 points, 3 points, and so on. Whoever gets the most points team-wise accumulate at the end will get to donate the most money to the charity they choose. The 2 charities we have right now so far are the Hopatcon Pound Project and Susan B. Komen. We are working on getting one local one because we really enjoy giving back locally to somebody in North Hunterdon, because we are going to be in North Hunterdon again. We had it in North Hunterdon before COVID kind of shut us down for 2 years. So thank you to the North Hunterdon fans and everybody for supporting us coming back. It will be a 2-1-1 format, 2 first period, 1 and then 1. And then for overtime will be a 30-second period, because I don't know if Joe agrees with me. When you see some heavyweight matches going 6 minutes and then long, you just want to get them over with. So we don't want to torture the people in the offseason.
Not all heavyweights.
Not all, but there's a couple that just hang on each other. It's like, okay, I'm over. I don't want to.
Zach Ray back from Hopatcon. He wasn't a.
No, Zach Ray, and then shooting down where I used to cover when I first started. Jimmy Lawson. They were some of those heavyweights are just like, and even Jimmy Mullins now that you see now for St. Joe's Montville is doing that. We have 3 matches that are going to be.
Fernandez of Voorhees was another one.
Fernandez of Voorhees was, and he was one of those lighter heavyweights too. He was right on the cusp. We also have 3 headliner matchups. We'll announce those now. We're working on one more. The first one is going to be Tyler Hagginson versus Logan Waddle, which is a rematch of the 3rd place final this year at States. We are going to have a local rivalry, which I don't know if they've ever wrestled, but I know they're about the same weight and they've wanted to wrestle. Brandon Rowley from North Hunterdon versus Tyler Mccatherine of Warren Hills. And for the first time ever, we are having a girls match at the event. We're working on another one, but the first one we can announce is Jody Holder from North Hunterdon will wrestle Noelle Gaffney, who is from High Point, is their state champion this year for High Point. So they will be assigned teams randomly. They won't be subject to the draft, so we'll figure that out later, but they'll be assigned that, and any of the other headliners will be there. And with the headliners as well, if we wind up in a tie, their points will be accumulated and added in, and they'll wind up getting a 2 and a 1 depending on who wins. And ultimately, if it comes to a tiebreaker, we'll let the fans decide. We're kind of very proactive with that. But I think we've talked enough, Joe. I know it's almost past your bedtime. We're recording this late. You might turn into a
no, it already is.
Let's start with 106. You make your pick.
Okay, I'm going to go with. I'm a Morris County guy, Morris County wrestling fan from 1991. I'm going to pick McGinty of Par Hills. No relation to the McGinty who wrestled at Par Hills about 20 years ago. I asked him. No, I'm not related.
You got to make sure of that. Sometimes it's just random names.
You just got to ask. You got to know these things.
there's two I'm kicking around that I'm debating. You know what? I'm going to go with Owen Kocharski from Del Val. I think he'll be my pick there.
All right, I know you're
Can't
trying
go
to
wrong picking an Andy Fitz kid.
Huh? All right.
Can't go wrong picking a Fitz kid.
Right. He got Coach of the Year in the Ledger. I saw that. It should have been Sean Smythe of Mount Olive, but who's counting? Anyway.
Should have been a couple things about Mount Olive, but it's who's counting.
Mount Olive was terrific. They were the best public school team in the state.
I agree 100%. You know that's how it is. I
Sports
can't agree
Writer
with
poll,
something
I
right.
don't know what those guys were drinking, but that it wasn't. It didn't agree.
No, I said that too. A couple people got scared that it made their teams look bad, but who knows?
No, it shouldn't be political. They were the best team in the state. Well, Del Barton, Burton Catholic, yes, but the best public school in the state was definitely Mount Olive.
100%.
Mike should have gotten Coach of the Year, but anyway, and he did at the States, and I'm glad he did. Okay.
Which was great.
Right, and I'm going to go.
You got awarded something at the States too, but we don't want to put you on the spot with you winning awards.
It was an accumulation of many years of a labor of love. So they saw the light and they gave it to me. That was very nice of them. And I appreciate that. Now I know you're trying to incorporate Passaic County into your coverage area, so I'll pick the Jack Bergman kid from Lakeland, the Lakeland Lancers.
Okay. Solid kid too. They're very good. So by default, I get Aiden Sharinga, which 106. It's a loaded weight here. We got some really good kids. So just because you're the fourth pick doesn't mean anything.
Are these kids going to make weight?
Yes. Well, here's what we're doing. They're 106 in name. So what I've done is I've purposely asked them what their natural weight is. So I'm grouping them by that as well. So we're not stripping the weigh-ins because it's a charity match. So they're going to go there, and those guys are all naturally the same way. I've told them we've only had one weigh-in ever in the history of the event, and that was a couple of years ago. I don't remember who it was, but it was somebody from Huntingdon, Warren, Sussex came in looking kind of big, but he wound up being had been lifting. Now, if one of these 106ers come in looking like me, we're putting them on a scale. That'll be a different story, but we'll figure it out. But so now we'll switch to 113, and I got a tough choice here, but I'm going to go with, you talked about my new coverage area. I'm going to go with sophomore Ben Marcetto from West Milford. He'll be my pick there.
Okay, Butler has become a lot better in wrestling than when I was on the beat full time. So I'm going to go with the Kroskowski kid from Butler.
Brother was a state medalist
yes.
2 years ago.
Wrestling family.
This one's tough because I really like both kids. I think they're solid kids, so I can't go wrong either way. I'm going to go with Patrick Horvath here.
Okay, and I'll take Nick Clayton. Now, a little Belvedere trivia. Did you know they had the state wrestling tournament at Belvedere High School one year? How about that?
How long ago was that?
Well, it wasn't exactly last year or 2 years ago. This one, we're talking in the late 30s, I believe, early 40s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, way back. Interesting place to cover a match.
I think that was Coach Gill's first year.
Yes, it was. He was only the water boy then, though.
He was an assistant then. He worked his way.
He was just an assistant. Okay, so I go next?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to pick, I saw you, and you did too, Omar Vasquez of Morris Hills win the district title in the final seconds over the Smith kid of Burton, and I'm going to pick him, Omar Vasquez.
He came on solid, very solid pick. He came on solid, very good last year. He
great for quotes after the match, and that's what matters most.
Which, as reporters, some of those quotes we get from some people. I don't want to call out James Laval, but I guess I will. Some of those guys are like, ugh. You're happy they won, but you're just like, what am I going to get from here?
James, as a wrestler, was the best wrestler I ever covered. I covered Mike Gray. I think James Laval was better. And he was awful to speak with after a match. But now that he's a coach, he's terrific. He was humble. He didn't like to talk about himself. But now when he's talking about his son or talking about the Hornets, he's terrific.
Opens up, whole nother person. I agree.
And a great guy too. Good guy.
I
got Vasquez. Who are you taking?
I'm taking Connor Kerwin from Passaic Valley. Had a really good tournament. I liked what I saw from him, and I think he'll be solid for me. So I like Connor Kerwin here.
Okay, you can't go wrong picking a high point kid. I'm going to take Roman Sitro at 120.
So then I wind up getting Kevin Reedinger by default. He will be my pick there. And then now we kick over to 126. This is going to be a tough one for me because I really like Langenmeyer from what I saw. Redner had a great run, but I'm going to go with James Day from Peaburg. I mean, solid, you know, we don't got to talk. You talk about how good a High Point kid are. Peaburg as well. I mean, them going down there winning the we were talking about the group championship. That was what I think swayed a few writers for the writers poll. But I mean, not to get into it again, but just you can't go by the last match you saw. But that's what they did. So
it's a resume for the year, and they had a horrendous loss to Warren Hills, and that should rule.
You can't get over that. That's like a black eye. You can't get over. No matter how you weigh it, you can't get over.
But they were just wrong. Sorry, good guys, but wrong.
Wrong. There we go.
Okay, so I interviewed Day at the Regions when they were at Union a few years back, and it was my first Peaburg kid I ever interviewed, and it was interesting. You've arrived as a sports writer when you interview a Peaburg kid.
Well, now we got Peaburg involved. I'm happy for that.
What's that?
I said we got Peaburg involved heavily this year too. That's a new step for us, and you know, good for their program, and you know, good for their coach to let some of the guys participate. So I always felt there was something missing, and now we got Peaburg involved because you can't have the best if they're not involved.
Correct. I'm glad you have them. I'm glad. Okay, I will also take. Let me see. I'll go with Butler, Brett Redner at 126. Okay.
Solid.
Is that stunning?
Let me go. I'm gonna go. It's gonna be tough. I like both kids, but I'm trying to think who I would choose. You know what? I really like Langenmeyer. I'm gonna go with Langenmeyer here.
Okay. And I'll get Redfield from Warren Hills. Warren Hills for years was an underachieving team, and now it looks like they're back to what they were many years ago.
Tough loss for them though in the group finals. I mean, they were right there, and they wound up.
But they were in the group. I mean, for years they were always a team to watch, and they never they were never worth watching when it mattered. Something always happened, injuries or whatever. But now it looks like they're always in the mix. You know,
it's a great job by Coach Zabrisha, and them ending the run of Peaburg wins against them this year was a big thing too for that program.
Yes,
32 years, I think it was.
Huh?
I think it was 32 years they hadn't beaten Peaburg.
1990, they beat Peaburg, and they were the #1 team in the state.
Yeah, I think that was the last time.
Yeah, White, they had their best wrestler was a kid named White, who was a state champ. I forget his first name.
I remember him. I went to Peaburg.
And he was
Warren Hills.
Warren Hills kid, and he was a state champ also. I think he became a coach. Marty White, perhaps. I forget his first name, but he became a coach.
There was Marty, there was Dan, and there was he had a brother. I can't remember his name, but there was a couple of them.
Yeah, I think it was Marty, but state champ, and then he became a Warren Hills coach, maybe. I'm not sure if he did or not.
I think he was an assistant for a little bit, because I remember it was Reynolds for a while, and then in that run. But yeah, that was solid history at Warren Hills.
Yes. All right, so at 132, I'm up, right? I'm going to go with Hager at Del Barton.
I was hoping he would fall. Can't go wrong with a Del Barton kid. There's two I'm debating between. I'm going to go with the freshman from Peaburg, Goleta.
Goleta, okay. Now I have a choice of two Passaic County kids.
Yeah.
I'll go with Colin Menier of West Milford, the Highlanders.
And then I will get Najati Salim from Clifton.
Yes. So
then I get first pick at 138. I'm going to go, it's another tough one. I'm going to go with Joe Innamorato from Peaburg.
Okay, I will take Jack Myers, who had a wonderful season for Morris.
Amazing season for that program. I'm so glad for Coach Flynn and that program to have some, to be able to get kids out there doing that.
Casey Flynn, I covered him as a wrestler and a football player, and a wonderful guy. I don't want to call him a kid because that makes me feel old, but he's really got things going there with the wrestling program, and now he's going to be the football coach. And his whole thing is, he's good. And the whole thing is getting kids out. You have more competition for positions, and I'm talking football. That's another passion of mine. But he's got the wrestling program headed in the right direction. He's good.
Yeah, he's a great coach. Always good for a call, and gets me his scores on time, which I can't say for everybody. My next one, I've heard a lot about this kid. I remember getting emails about him in the beginning of the year. I'm going to take Brandon Dean from West Morris.
Okay.
I was getting messages from parents from West Morris early in the season, like, keep an eye on him, keep an eye on him. So I definitely want to see how he'll do.
He had a good year. He had a good year. And then I'll take Attila Valley from Wayne Valley.
Okay, now you get first pick at 144.
Okay, I'll go with Ciliata of Montville.
Right.
Montville had a great middle of the lineup, and he was part of it.
Solid lineup. Montville was very good this year.
Good public school program. Crip does a great job, and they're always up, not just in the mix, but atop the mix,
Yeah.
top of the pile.
I'm going to go with Justin Holly here, sophomore for Pope John.
Okay, I'll take Hammerly from Lakeland.
I got Jarrett Lee from Warren Hills.
Yeah.
And then I get the first pick for the next weight, 150. I am going to go. This is a tough one. I'm going to go with Colin Neal from Pope John.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go with Randolph kid, Joseph Galetta. I miss Mike Sook, by the way. He's a pal.
Oh, great guy. Oh, Coach Sook was the best because I remember one year when I first started, a couple of years in, I get a call on Christmas Day, and I'm like, oh, I was like, everything okay? And he wanted to talk to me about wrestling. I was like, oh, I was like, Coach, Christmas. He's like, enjoy. I was like, enjoy the family. He's like, oh. He's like, I'm talking wrestling. Speaking of, I'm going to take Bryce Coesfield from Kittatinny.
And I'll take Lasatiello from Pompton Lakes. I don't know much.
Yeah, you got to pronounce that right. The Italian name. They'll come looking for you. All right, you're up at 157.
Okay, I'm going to go with the kid who should have got outstanding wrestler at the Morris County tournament, Henry Forte of Del Barton. To me, if you're a JV kid and you're the 10th seed, but there's the anti-Del Barton bias. So you really have to be special to be a Catholic school kid and win an OW in any of these tournaments now. Let's be honest.
And best quote he gave was, he said that was his state tournament. He knew how he was going to go.
Yep. He's from Cresskill, and he makes the hour commute to Del Barton. He's going to wrestle for Duke. I imagine he's going to start next year for Del Barton.
He has to. That'll open up because Del Barton's going to lose a couple of kids.
He beat David Turner of Morris Hills, who's a two-time state qualifier. So I guess that means Forte is a state qualifier himself, if you look at it that way.
Yeah, he'll be right there.
I know he beat him once, perhaps twice. No, I know he beat him this year. I don't think he beat him a second time, so I misspoke. He definitely beat him once. He beat him in the county semis. So hats off to Forte.
One kid that I'm impressed with so far, and I'm going to take next, is Ryan Burton from DePaul. Okay. Freshman. It's very, very solid year. I know he's been wrestling hard, so that'll be solid for me.
Okay. I will go with Derek Giordano of Montville. Got to get another Mustang on my team.
and I'll take Taylor Sibley's from Newton. Now we'll kick over to, I'm going to kick over to 165. We talked about him a minute ago. I'm taking David Turner.
Okay. Wonderful kid, by the way.
Really nice kid.
And unfortunately, he got hurt last year. He'd probably be a three-time state qualifier. All right, I'm going to go with I'm old enough to remember, I believe Stephen Dolling's father was the state champ at Kittatinny. I'm assuming, right? I would think it's his father. I mean, I'm not as familiar with Kittatinny wrestling as I once was. Gil's a great guy, and I know he's still around. And I teach at my school with a couple of kids that went to Kittatinny, a couple of teachers that went to Kittatinny. They're under the age of 30, so I guess they're kids. I'll take I'll take Steve Dowling.
I'm going to go with Nick Doctor from Clifton, just because I want to make the puns of like doctor prescribes a takedown too. I wanted that's what I love.
But you could have had
solid wrestler.
You could have had two Sibleys on your team, though. I guess.
I thought about it. So
Right,
you get Sibleys.
I'll take Takeo Sibleys then at 165.
We'll head to 175. You get first pick.
Okay. I interviewed Matt Leslie at the Morris Knowles Christmas tournament, and nice kid. I think I'll go with him. I think Kocharski has beaten him several times. But I'll take Matt Leslie. Pleasant.
Well, you know what? You might be able to get Kocharski anyway, because I'm going to take Ashton Navarrete from Hawthorne.
Okay. The Hawthorne Bears, huh? Rusty Reed. You know who Rusty Reed was?
No, it might be before my time.
He was I think their one and only state champ. He beat Sam Hakeem in the region finals, and Sam Hakeem was injured, but was terrific for Randolph.
From Randolph, right?
Yeah. His brother Tim and Ollie were state champs. Sam was as good as those guys, but he got injured as a junior and never really came back. He injured his shoulder and never really never got back to what he was as a sophomore. As a sophomore, he was unbelievable. He was third in the state. But anyway, I'll take Kocharski then.
All right. I will get Hunter Cleaver from Peaburg. Okay. And then I will take Jay Garish from DePaul.
Okay. His dad's a good man. Used to be the New
York. Dad's a great man.
Yes.
The Garish family he was shocked to see me at the Passaic County tournament too, because I dealt with him and with his older son through Mike Kennedy. So it was nice to see him and do that.
Right. Mike Kennedy's a good man.
Very good man.
Didn't see him this year. I went to a few matches. I didn't see him.
I don't think he got out that much for everything. There's nothing wrong with him.
He still runs the gym in Parsippany. It's a great gym.
Yeah,
a lot of wrestlers go there. But a terrific guy. I just never ran into him. I saw Anthony Forte win the district. What number? 7? The one we were at. I'm losing track of the numbers. The one at Roxbury. He won, so I'll take him. He was very pleasant after the match, after the district. So I'll take him.
I'm going to go with Owen Frizzell from Warren Hills. Give me some Warren Hills love for the alma mater.
All right, so I'll go with DeVry, my second Pompton Lakes Cardinal.
You're catching them all. Now you get to go here.
Okay, now Gaber, he's not a heavyweight.
He's with the way they weigh right now. He's a lower heavyweight, so they're all in that 215, 220. Gaber, from what they told me, is 220, 223.
Okay. Gaber's real sport. I mean, he's a good wrestler. He's a great defensive lineman on Montville's level. Ooh, that's a tricky one. I'll go with Mohammed Gaber.
Okay. I'm gonna go with a man I was highly impressed with at the Morris County tournament, Diego Akai. So he'll be my first 215.
That's tough. And I'll take Matt Schneider of Del Val.
And I get Andrew Morzetta of Hawthorne, who had the unfortunate task at the Passaic County tournament of facing Jay Casal. So it was kind of tough for him in that bracket.
Right.
Now, heading to heavyweight, I got to go with the big man, the home guy, Liam Akers from North Hunterdon.
Okay. I'm going to go with another good football lineman, Henry Fraim of West Morris. I know his dad. I covered his dad in high school, and his dad loves building up offensive linemen, and Henry has become quite a good wrestler as well. So it's a pleasure to have him on my team.
One of the kids I'm happy to have involved too, because I got to see him at the Passaic County tournament. Arthur Edmonds from Eastside. You want to talk about a strong bull? He's the definition when you see heavyweights of battling and pins. There's no extra technique. They're not worrying to work this and that. They're big bulls. They're going out there and they're trying to get throws. And he's the epitome. And he's got that potential for me. So I like Arthur Edmonds.
Right. Okay. And I'll take Chetirkin from Wayne Valley. Robbie, I'll take him.
Yep. So that concludes our draft right now. So what we will do is I'll post who has who under each team. We'll have that, up the podcast. After we have the podcast posted, we'll have everything listed. Like I said, 2-1-1 format. It will be May 7th at North Hunterdon High School. Please come out and join us. It's a very fun event. Very enjoyable. Like I said, we have our first girls match, and the one best part about the girls match is not only do we have our first girls match, it's going to be officiated by a female referee. So we really want to promote female wrestling at this event. Now that it's kind of got its legs under it with, being in the state and everything. But Joe, listen, this has been fun. You know how much I love doing this, and I've been trying to get you on a podcast. If it had to be through a draft, we did it. But listen, thank you so much, and we'll be posting the rosters, and I'll have the matchups up probably by Tuesday of who faces who in the semifinals, and I'll also be posting the finalized uniforms for everybody.
Okay, I think my team's going to destroy yours, by the way, just saying.
I don't know. I'm looking at my team. It might not even be close. This might be like a Del Barton versus a JV team match we might got going on.
My kids are in shape. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm going to tell you, my kids look like they're good, and this is from these. I don't think they realize the bragging rights we're going to get whoever walks away from this, because people always tell. I've heard people say I'm the next Joe Hofmann, and people say that you're Don Brower 1.0. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Me, they're like, who? Because I'm not in vogue anymore.
People know. Come on, people know Joe Hofmann.
Well, the older one.
Joe Hofmann. That is kind of true. The parents do. I see right here. I have my finger on the pulse of what's hip in the community. I'm new Coke. You're a Coke classic. But
Well,
thanks for joining me, Joe. And like I said, we're gonna have some fun.
All right, Don. Good talking to you.
Good talking to you
See you
too.
soon. All right, buddy.
Definitely.
Bye-bye.